they're doing it really well. Another first down. 6 points for Warwick. A pitch out there. Good run for the Hurricanes. MB is going in the air for a bomb. Catch. The Wolverines, the 10, 5, touchdown Woodside. It is Friday Night Football in Newport News, Virginia. On this soggy evening, it's Warwick versus Woodside. As we take a look at the field for the players as they get ready for the game tonight. And hi again, everybody. I'm Greg Bicaveros with Nate Milton. Glad you're with us for Warwick and Woodside for our 25th year of signature coverage of high school football. Nate, when you talk about these two teams, it's a soggy evening, rainy evening, that can affect the entire game.
Right, Greg. If you just look at the records, you'd think that Woodside would have the advantage. But Mother Nature is going to have her say in this game tonight, and we'll see what that rain has to do with either team's offense.
Woodside's trying to get over 500. Warwick's trying to get another win.
Right. Woodside wants to keep this momentum going, but the Raiders, on the other hand, this would be a quality win, a quality statement for them to come out if they can defeat Woodside tonight. So it's going to be a great game, folks.
All right, let's get down to the field, folks. See the referees, and that's a perfect cue for our referees and officials. And let's take a look at the official card, respectively. The referee tonight is Bill Dozier. The umpire is George Adamowski. Mick Hartzheim, Mike Mann, Kenny Hayes, Scott Davis, and Mike Mitchell. All good quality officials.
A great officiating crew as always. A pleasure to bring this game to you tonight. Again, there you see our officials.
Excellent graphic right there by our crew. And, of course, the big thing tonight will be the rain and getting off to a good start. And we saw in our first game in Menchville and Heritage got off to a good start.
Right, Heritage jumped off to a very quick start. Matter of fact, first play of the first series of the game, the Hurricanes were able to score on the Monarchs. And we'll see if Woodside can do that tonight with this weather. And it'll be interesting to see how the wing T operates in these rainy conditions.
And Woodside already off to a good start on the special teams return. Almost to the house is number 23, respectively. That was Tamir Walker.
Tamir Walker with a great run right there. Excellent special teams play. Sets them up in prime time scoring position. That's what you want to see from the first play of the game if you're a Woodside Wolverine fan.
And Woodside off to a great special teams effort there, respectively. Woodside in the black, white, and kind of aqua uniforms. Warwick in the traditional white, gold, and red. And Nate and I, during the fourth quarter tonight, will also rate the top 5 uniforms of the Newport News schools. Hey, somebody's got to come in first.
Somebody's got to come in first.
That's it. On the outside run by Woodside. And they get in for a touchdown. Who else, Nate? Number 23, Tamir Walker. All right, Michael Jordan's old number.
I'm telling you, looking like MJ out there. Great job by Tamir Walker, who did everything. Let's take a look first, folks, at the kick return that started things off and set Woodside up in such a great position. The kick return and then the touchdown. Tamir Walker, a junior, he rushed for over 1,000 yards as a sophomore, has great speed, and he's only 5'6", 5'8". But, you know, much like me, Greg, sometimes I might not be the biggest guy out there, but you got to have heart, and Tamir Walker is a great catalyst for this Wolverine offense.
What a great start for Danny Dotson's Woodside Wolverines. 2-2 in the year, going for the special teams extra point here for the Wolverines. And it's blocked. Good special teams by the Raiders. When you talk about these two teams, let's take a look at it again.
Like we said, Woodside got off to a great start. Here you're going to see the return by Tamir Walker. Just cut him through him like a hot knife.
Nobody even touching him.
Exactly. He's like, excuse me, coming through.
Yeah. And they're almost like saying, okay, no problem.
Right, and they finally did a great job catching up to him at the very end. There you see for Warwick, Elijah Anderson bringing him down. But a great return by Walker. And then as you just saw moments ago, folks, they were able to walk into the end zone, and they now have the lead.
All right, what are the keys for the game tonight first for Warwick?
I think if you're Warwick, what you got to do is play tough on the line. Your line play is going to be crucial in this matchup tonight. You got to find a way on defense to penetrate and stop that wing T. And on offense, you got to impose your will on the Woodside defense.
25th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. All right, Fazoli's right there at 11739 Jefferson Avenue, Newport News, 596-4324, Fazoli's.com.
Yes, Fazoli's. Pizza and football equals Fazoli's.com. And the way Tamir Walker's running out there, you'd have thought he had some meatballs or something because the carbohydrates were working for that young man.
He wants one of those subs, too, Nate.
I'm telling you what. Just a great start by the Woodside Wolverines.
Love Woodside's uniforms. Not saying they're number one yet, though. Nate's very picky about uniforms. 11:42, 18 seconds. And let's set up the table for Warwick this year, folks. They came off, Nate, with a big win against Granby, 27-18. Lost to Heritage, 36-18. Bethel, 31-0. And Phoebus, 42-6. They're 1-3. Penalty right there. You see the referee, Bill Dozier. For the Wolverines. There's the tenure right there, Nate.
You see Danny Dotson, the coach of Woodside since 1999. Marcellus B2 Harris at Denby since 2008. George Massenberg, of course, for the Heritage Hurricanes. Been there since 2011. As well, we've got Corey Hairston for Warwick, been there since 2014. And Ray Savage, who we saw in our first game this year at Menchville, his first year as head coach of the Monarchs.
That's our coaching tree right there, presented by Fazoli's. Of course, Woodside, Nate, went to South Carolina, lost to Rock Hill 47-23, beat Menchville 46-7, beat Gloucester 49-14, lost to Hampton. Hampton might be the best team in the district, 36-20.
I tell you what, Hampton is looking very much reinvigorated this season.
Warwick on the ground, and the Raiders like the power eye. Woodside countering with the 4-4 defense. Warwick in the white, gold, and red. Warwick's big loss from last year was they were 2-8 last year, 0-10 in 2013, 4-6 in 2012. 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League on this rainy Friday night Newport News. And the Raiders right up the middle. And that's what, in the rain, the running game, it's got to be relevant.
Great run right up the middle for the Warwick Raiders. There you see on the play, number 3, DeMonte Good, the senior running back. And you're going to see a little bit of a mix of offense by the Raiders. Sometimes they'll go out of the spread. Sometimes they'll go power I. And right here, just power running right up the middle, Greg. We mentioned the offensive line has to step up big tonight. And right there, great surge by the O-line. Opens up a nice hole for the running back, and DeMonte Good does a good job running that football.
Like their quarterback, DJ Nunn. But, of course, penalties can always affect a team. We saw that with Menchville recently. 6-0 Woodside. Glad you're with us on Cox Cable 47517, NNPSTV.com.
And those penalties, Greg, those mental mistakes are something you can't afford, especially against a team like Woodside. And, of course, football has one home, and that is NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com.
Again, stoppage and play, respectively.
Well, Greg, we talked to Coach Hairston before the game, and one of the things that he said his team needed to work on was closing out games, improving on some of these mental mistakes. They're still a very young team, and right there you see another mistake by the Warwick Raiders.
.10:40 left here in quarter number 1. Warwick in the white. Woodside in the dark uniform. Screen pass. Complete. And a nice run right there by the Raiders on the catch. Going out of bounds. Nice reception there by number 3, DeMonte Good.
DeMonte Good, the 5'10 senior. Nice job on the screen pass. That's what I like about him. He's a receiver, Greg, who converted to the running back position, so you know he's got good hands and he can make those catches out of the backfield.
Working that power eye offense. Woodside countering with the 4-4 defense. 6-0 Wolverines in the first quarter. Warwick being very methodical, keeping on the ground, not much running room there. Warwick this year, folks, they like the power eye offense under Corey Hairston. They like the 4-2-5 defense. Strength is running for Warwick. Weakness is not closing the deal, hence their 1-3 record. For Woodside, they like the wing T, like always by Dotson. 4-4 defense, strength is the offense. Same thing for Woodside, and all the Newport News schools is closing.
Yeah, that's what separates the elite teams from everyone else in the division.
Raiders in trouble, and they skid. They skid backwards. That was number 22, Adrian Campbell.
An excellent pursuit right there by the Woodside Wolverines. Didn't allow the man to get past them. Great job penetrating for the defense. And this is a game, folks, if you're a fan of running the football, if you're a fan of line play, this is the game for you because you've got two teams that don't go out there and try to be flashy and pretty and throw the ball down the field. They're going to run it up your gut and see if you can stop them.
3rd and 12. Nice screen pass. I love it. Excellent screen pass there by the quarterback, number 12, DJ Nunn. And you know what? Sometimes those short passes open up the run.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the pro game, Tom Brady, that's what New England does so well, is using those screen passes almost as a running game.
To Gronk.
To Gronk. And when you've got somebody that's that unstoppable, whether it's Gronk or Julian Edelman, you know, that's going to make your offense go. And that's what we're seeing right now from the Raiders. They're doing a good job of working these screen passes.
All right, don't forget, folks, got a big feature coming up in the fourth quarter. Nate Milton's going to rate the top 5 uniforms in Newport News.
Yeah, it's going to be our tribute to the late, great Joan Rivers. We're going to have a little fashion police tonight.
Yeah, we'll start with number 5 first. So Nate will start taking some notes down. Nate, we've seen all 5 teams play, even during the practice, you know, so you have an idea.
Yeah, and then we've seen different uniform combinations. Heritage, the last game we did, they came out with the smoky gray look.
Not my favorite. These two have 2 of the best uniforms right here. Warwick and Woodside. Warwick's had so many great coaches over the years, like the late Jim Snow and Thad Madden, Bill Lyons, A.C. Cawthorn, Tommy Riemann, Stan Sexton, Juan Jackson, Bernard Griffin, Corey Hairston. In fact, Snow coached Warwick from 63 to 70. Madden took over from 71 to 80. Warwick went right to left, across the 40.
And again,
Madden probably was the best ever coach in Warwick history, and Huntington as well. He knew so much about football, Thad Madden did. You see Corey Hairston, and it's a big honor for anybody to have coached at Warwick that Jim Snow and Thad Madden coached this team. And they're the oldest school in Newport News.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, not just the coaching tradition, but in terms of some of the athletes, you talk about Norm Snead, you talk about Michael Vick, just some of the great names that have played and put on that Raider uniform over the years.
And our 2 favorites, Joe Slade and Stevie Savridis.
There you go. Just so many great
Marcus
athletes.
Vick. 8:22 left in the first quarter. We'll see what Woodside does. And first down, and they get stopped. Stopped pretty hard by that 4-2-5 defensive Warwick.
Yeah, and then for those that are wondering, you know, about the decision for Warwick to go for it on 4th down, I don't disagree with it. I think in these weather conditions, when you're on this side of the field, I think it's worth a try. And now, you know, they didn't get it, but I don't think that that's a bad call. Now you see Coach Danny Dotson, who is quickly become the dean of Newport News football coaches. Just a great job that he has done with this Woodside program.
Him and Mike Smith, the only 2 coaches in the Peninsula coach during the 20th century.
And it is just amazing to think, you know, just all of the great coaches and what Danny has done with this team and building up a culture of winning like we always talk about.
Wolverines on the quarterback keeper. Nowhere there by number 2, respectively, Tahir Taylor. And Woodside's had some great players, too, like Willie Bell, Stephon Welsh, and Billy Kanides over the years.
Yeah, and Aaron Evans, who might have been the best Woodside quarterback out of all of them back in 2009, who was just a great dual threat, running the ball and passing the football. But, this wing T offense is something that has been constant. It's been consistent for Woodside over the years. And you think about
nothing fancy, but they get it done.
Nothing fancy, no frills. They give you all steak, no sizzle. I'm thinking back to the days when they had the Davis.
Like a little butter on my steak.
Like a little butter on the steak. Well, they had Mondo and Miguel Davis in the backfield. That was just like a little A1 sauce on the side. But, meat and potatoes offense that has been effective for Danny Dotson over the years.
Stop and play at 6:45, 6-0 Woodside. And you talk about in the 20th year of Woodside from 96 to 98, Bob Schmidt was the coach for 3 years, a former Denby coach, and Dotson ever since.
And that's the one thing we always talk about, Greg, consistency. There you see our officials out there on the field. When we had our Menchville game.
I think he's got an apron there for a second. He wants to know Fazoli's name.
Hey, he's thinking about it, man. Pizza and football, they go together. And again, don't forget, folks, Hampton Road Spell Sports, nnpstv.com.
Woodside again.
Wow.
The scramble throw, incomplete. And right now, I wouldn't even worry about passing. Run, and run.
Especially if you can get blocks like that. That was an amazing block by the Woodside O-line. Unfortunately, they weren't able to complete the pass, but you got to admire the hard work and effort that Woodside is putting in right now, Greg. Let's take a look at this right here, folks, on this instant replay. You heard about pancake blocks? Well, this is more than a pancake block. This is some waffles with some syrup and some bacon on the side, maybe a Southwestern omelet, some frittatas or something. Boom! There he goes, knocks him out of his shoes. Somebody help that boy up. Great job.
Don't forget the corned beef hash, too. Your nickname in Greek is Nico.
Nico. See, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. It was a Greek restaurant, right?
I could go for some baklava.
Ah, too sweet. Give me the souvlaki, I'll take that. Warwick on the special teams. And they go nowhere. Again, it's going to be a big play. It's going to be probably a low-scoring first half. So you want to take advantage and be proactive as much as you can on offense, defense, and special teams.
And, of course, you're watching this game on Newport News' premier TV channel, NNPS TV. And I think you're right, Greg. This is going to be a low-scoring game early on, both teams feeling each other out. And field position might be a big factor. There you see 6:25 left in the quarter. But I think field position is going to be a big thing. Can you monopolize that real estate out there on the gridiron?
You saw Warwick was vulnerable in the special teams. And right there, again, a fumble. It's going to be that type of night. Woodside will get it.
Wow.
We just talked about it. The rain is going to totally supersede this game tonight, as it normally does.
And in a game like this with two teams that are evenly matched, mistakes like that can be crucial, Greg. And, of course, folks, don't forget the Sports Highlights Archives available on nnpstv.com.
6:21 left, 6-0. Woodside, and good teams like this will take advantage of the errors of the less fortunate.
It's all about capitalizing on your opportunities when they're presented to you, Greg. You got to go out there and make it happen.
And nice catch by the Wolverines. It'll be close. No cigar there.
That was a nice play right there. Dominic Sumter, the tight end, on the reception, Greg. And Tyler, he did a great job evading that defensive rush by Warwick, flipping it out there into the flats, and Sumter did a good job picking up positive yardage, almost got into the end zone.
5:55 left. Wolverines just pounding it in.
And again, it's the name we've called so often tonight, Greg. It's Tamir Walker again. You know, what's that old Motown song? It's the same old song with just a different meaning since you've been gone. Well, that's the same old song with a great meaning because Tamir Walker runs in for his second score of the night.
Dotson is about as consistent as you get. He'll keep it very consistent. And the throw is good. 2-point conversion.
Went for two, and they made up for that missed extra point earlier on the first touchdown, and now Woodside with a commanding 14-0 lead.
With 5:52 left in the first quarter. See Dotson right there in his Woodside Wolverines.
And the Kick-a-Tan Warriors early in the first quarter. The Phantoms are on the board. The extra point is good. They lead the Warriors 7-0.
They see Coach Dotson coaching up his boys.
The Raiders and Kick-a-Tan, Bethel, Denby, Phoebus, Heritage, not going to be any easier. But, you know, with all these different divisions, a lot more teams get in the postseason. Now, the 6A is one of the toughest divisions around, though.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Greg, I haven't been in high school in a while, and I think you've got to go back to school or college or something to learn the math to figure out all these divisions now because it is confusing, to say the least.
I got my high school and college degree. You have to get a master's degree to figure that out.
I think you need calculus to figure some of these things out.
All right, it's 14-0 Woodside. We're here at Todd Stadium in Newport News, Virginia. Greg Bickaveros, glad you're with us, along with Nate Milton and the entire crew. Pizza and football presented by Fazoli's.com. Touchback. It just seems like Warwick has to get in gear and make this drive count. They can't wait to the third and fourth quarter.
No, and there you saw Travis J. Williams, who really didn't have any chance on that return, so it's down for a touchback. And this is going to be a crucial offensive series for the Warwick Raiders. They can't fall too deep into a hole right now. There you see the score, 14-0, Woodside in the lead. They can't fall into a deep hole against this Woodside squad, Greg. And, of course, folks, you can follow us on Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at HR Online Mallcom, at Nate Mosaic, at GJBTV, and at Cospod, all on Twitter. Thank you for following us.
Corey Hairston, longtime assistant in his second year at the Raiders as the head coach. Raiders keep it on the ground. Nice run. This is what they needed. Big play by the Raiders. And they get across the 40. Excellent run by the Warwick Raiders. DeMonte, you know it's good.
Great burst up the middle by Deontay Good. And again, Warwick's been making some great gains on offense. They just need to capitalize.
Let's take a look at it again. It was that good.
Here we're going to see DeMonte Good straight up the gut, no frills right here. Great hole opened up by the offensive line. Good does a great job making the first two tacklers miss him, and then he picks up another 15, 20 yards or so, just doing a great job straight up the gut. Nothing fancy, just smash mouth football.
Just like our favorite singer, Q-Tip.
The Q-Tip. I'm telling you. That was all good, Greg. That was all good.
.543 left in quarter number one. Greg Bickaveros, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Penalty right there, Nate, again. See the excellent referee, Bill Dozier, and his wonderful staff. Mick McCool is up here in the booth with us tonight, too. And we'll talk to Mick during an intermission. And again, big penalty. Nate, we'll see if Warwick can capitalize on that.
That is a big opportunity right here for the Warwick Raiders. That penalty moving them into the red zone, and now they've got an opportunity to score. And with DeMonte Good, he's a great runner. I think they've got a chance. And don't forget, folks, to tweet at us, at Greg Bick, at Nate Mosaic, hashtag Friday Night Football, y'all.
5:43 left. We'll see what Corey Hairston's squad can do, working the white, gold, and red. Woodside in the aqua, black, and white. Kind of swimming pool colors almost.
It's a little too chilly to swim now.
Not for me, it's not.
You going to take the polar bear plunge?
I don't think so.
Oh, now we're going back.
We're at Todd Stadium in Newport News. There you see Bill Dozier. Tell your friends about nnpstv.com.
And, of course, we've shown over a dozen different sports. We've showcased them by the staff here over the years on nnpstv.com.
See Dotson right there. Longtime assistant under Tommy Raymond as well. Of course, Raymond coached at Warwick. Coached at Lansdowne and Ferguson, Manor. Again, you get to the red zone, you have to do something about it.
And that's the problem. When you get this close, there you see Coach Harrison checking out his squad, rooting on his offense. But when you get down here, Greg, you run out of real estate. You don't have the wide open spaces that you do when you're at midfield. And so you've got to be more creative with your offense.
Especially with the spread. When you do a spread, it really helps. Dotson looking on. Really student of the football game, old school Danny Dotson. Kind of like what Woody Hayes did at Ohio State. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yep. I think now would be a great time for a screen pass.
And that's what it was. But no real estate, like you said.
Maybe they heard me.
DJ none on the throw. And none there.
I'm telling you. They did a good job by Woodside. Great recognition on that play. They saw the screen pass developing, and they shut him down. Don't forget, folks, Newport News' premier TV channel is right here, NNPS TV, and, of course, nnpstv.com, folks.
And tell your friends about nnpstv.com.
And there's a flag on that last play.
Don't forget sports highlights. For October, we'll have Ray Savage and his son, Casey Vick's son as well.
A lot of penalties early on in this game, Greg.
And we'll see if Warwick can take something out of this, as now they're getting out of the Fazoli's red zone.
And this isn't the worst thing, though, Greg, because now they've got a little bit more space to operate. You maybe can do some more things with your passing game and open things up a bit. Now, that wasn't a good thing.
We're still in the first quarter. You see the flag right there. Great audio, video right there as well. Don't forget, stay tuned, of course, in the fourth quarter for our report card, as well as the top 5 uniforms by Nate Milton. And, of course, atmosphere.
Yes, the atmosphere.
And one thing about rain or shine, we still have to talk about atmosphere.
Yes, we do. And this is crazy, Greg. All of that.
And Nate's not been happy about the atmosphere this year.
No, not at all.
He wants to see a lot more school spirit.
We will get to that in the fourth quarter, most definitely.
Right.
But all that yardage that Warwick gained on the penalty, they just gave right back.
Warwick on the throw up the middle, always dangerous, complete. Nice catch there. Probably the best play of the game for the Raiders by number 8, Lucas.
Yep. Zion Lucas, the junior, 6'3", 180 pounds. Let's take a look at him. A big target right there. The kids call him Mount Zion because he's so big. Does a great job getting open in space. Good stick, though. Good hit by the Woodside defender to bring him right down as soon as he made the catch.
We never see those hits you saw back on YouTube and back in the day when Jack Tatum would hit people for the Raiders. Still the most dangerous defensive player ever. The late Jack Tatum who played for Ohio State.
Jack Tatum was one of the biggest hitters the game has ever seen.
Literally almost killed Darryl Stingley.
Yeah, one of the most unfortunate incidents in football, and Stingley's son ended up playing for a little while. But yeah, that's the thing, Greg. As much as we love the game of football, it still is a sport where it can be very violent, and so you got to give a lot of credit to these young men out here for coming out here and playing ball.
14-0 Woodside. 3:25 left in the first quarter. We're at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Greg Bickaveros, Nate Milton, glad you're with us.
Coach Harrison called a timeout. I think he wants to get his guys focused because they've had too many penalties, Greg. They were inside the red zone like we mentioned earlier, and now because of penalties, because of mistakes, they've been moved back.
And, of course, Warwick's got Menchville, Denby, Kickingham, Gloucester, Hampton. After tonight, 50% of the season's done.
It's hard to believe, folks. It is hard to believe, but we're glad to be bringing this game to you tonight.
And, of course, I ran into Aaron Brooks recently.
Yes. Aaron Brooks, legend, has played in the NFL, and it's great to see him back around. And then what was it like? How was Aaron when you met him?
Of course, you see the Warwick Raiders right there. And, of course, take it away, Nate.
There you see rising 11th graders. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for info or to schedule a tour, 591-4687, extension 0, 591-4687, extension 0. And you can earn college credit here at the Telecom program. And all of the graphics, all of the sights and sounds you see from this game are being done by our young students here. So it's a great way to enter the field of telecommunications.
Absolutely. Of course, Brooks played for Ferguson and Virginia, and George Welsh played for the Packers, Saints, and the Raiders. Really, he put the Saints on the map before Breeze did. To me, Breeze's career is pretty much getting close to the end.
Yeah, Drew Brees, he won the Super Bowl and has thrown for a million yards almost, folks. That's not even an exaggeration. But, yes, Father Time is undefeated. And, he's taken the hits over the years. He lost Jimmy Graham in the offseason.
You remember what happened to Johnny Unitas toward the end he played for the Chargers. I mean, he was a Colt through and through.
Yeah. I don't think Drew's at that stage yet. But
on the run right there by number 11.
Still going.
Elijah Anderson. Woo. Another Elijah.
Oh, man, that was a nice run by Elijah Anderson. The junior did a good job on the second effort. We thought that the Woodside Wolverines had stopped him, but he kept those feet moving, Greg, kept that persistence going, and he was able to pick up about 5-6 more yards.
So you got Elijah, a Zion. All we need now is a Pope.
The Pope might still be in town, Greg.
Hey, he's only an hour away.
I'm sure he can stop by Todd Stadium and check out the game.
Nate, you better let him talk a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll have him in the booth.
Timeout taken at the 2:37 mark.
The interesting little cat and mouse game we're seeing between the Warwick offense and the Woodside defense. And, of course, folks, don't forget sports highlights. You can watch it every Monday, 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. And, of course, Saturday and Sundays at 9 a.m. here on Cox Channel 47, Verizon Fios 17, and, of course, NNPSTV.com.
And, of course, September, Kings Dominion. October, we'll showcase high school football.
So did you ride the roller coasters when you were at Kings Dominion?
Actually, I rode the Rebel Yell, yes.
You rode the Rebel Yell.
See the cheerleaders there getting a little wet? Not that I'll ever ride it again.
So you're one and done with the Rebel Yell.
Goodness gracious. Still shaking from that.
So next time it'll be the Scooby-Doo roller coaster.
What's the one thing you've always wanted to do that you haven't done?
Whew. In terms of theme parks?
Or anything.
There's a lot of stuff that I would like to do, Greg. I'd like to go to France. I've lived in Japan, but I'd love to go to Europe and just travel. Take a month or two and just travel and see the sights, man. And I think there's a lot of different cultures and food I'd be interested in trying.
And the stutter of the kick is up. No good.
Wow.
Warwick cannot score.
All that hard work, all that effort, and you come away empty-handed, Greg. That's got to be deflating for the Warwick Raiders.
Me, I've always wanted that mini bike. I love mini bikes. There's nothing more that gets my blood flowing than mini bikes. I just don't ride them. I would ride a mini bike all day.
I was going to say, Greg, if you get the mini bike, we need to bring the crew out.
We got to Gloucester somewhere and ride it.
We got to bring the crew out and film it.
You see the score right now? Nate, go ahead and give us a scoring recap presented by Fazoli's.
All right, and there you see our Twitter handles, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, and, of course, at Nate Mosaic. Thank you for following us. Our scoring recap, so far, it has been all Woodside. We had a TD run by Tamir Walker.
Thank you for the Twitter.
A blocked extra punt, and then a TD run by Walker again, and they made the two-point conversion. 14-0 Woodside is your score. And don't forget, folks, pizza and football, Fazoli's.com.
Oh. And Woodside skedaddling again, off to the races. There he goes again.
Wow.
Who else? Tamir Walker.
Wow. What a run by Tamir Walker. The 5'8 junior does it again. Ran for over 1,000 yards in his sophomore season, and he keeps on going tonight. Let's take a look at the replay, folks. You're going to see, again, great push by the offensive line, and as soon as Walker gets past that first wave of defenders, he is gone. It's like he's playing Madden. Somebody hit the spin button. There he goes, gets past the defender. Mama, there goes that man.
It's like the Raiders are watching it on TV.
I'm telling you, it looks like the Raiders are in cement right there, and Tamir Walker has the speed and the agility and the vision, Greg, maybe the most important thing, to get to that hole and then get to the outside.
They're not drinking the same Kool-Aid as Menchville.
No. I don't know what they're drinking out there. Maybe some Yoo-hoo or something sugary that's weighing them down, because Tamir Walker is just looking like a man among boys out there.
21 zip, all Woodside. So we've had 2 blowouts in a row. Woodside on the year, folks, averaging 34, giving up 26 on defense. Warwick only averaging 12 a game, giving up 29 on defense. They're already giving up 21 tonight in the first quarter.
And Danny Dotson has got to love the production from his junior running back, Tamir Walker. All 3 scores tonight for the Wolverines have been because of TW.
Let's take a look at the students page.
There you see, folks, YouTube. Check out the student page here, the NNPS Telecom Network, and you can check out all of the great work that our students are doing here. And again, folks, YouTube, the wave of the future, the social media, and of course, NNPS TV is on top of that. Shout out to our students. Check out their YouTube page today.
And what Ray Price and Carl Daniels have done with the students is excellent. The respect the kids have, and just great group of kids year in and year out.
Yeah, folks, these
really
are juniors and seniors.
Several professionals don't even do this. Warwick just needs an energy drink or something.
I'm telling you, Warwick they need to take a deep breath. They need to relax and get back into this game. There you see, folks, the score 21-0, all Woodside right now.
And one thing, live TV, tape TV, whatever, it doesn't lie. This is a reality, folks. When you see them fumble or miscue, the energy level in a week, it could be draining when you're losing, especially. It's hard to keep the energy level up.
Yeah, momentum is a very powerful thing. If you've got it on your side, you can continue to keep that thing going. But once you get the tables turned against you, it's kind of hard to stop that tide sometimes. And so we're going to see if Warwick can dig deep. Warwick has to dig deep on this next series, Greg. They got to put some points on the board because they cannot allow Woodside to just run away with this thing.
And Woodside's such a disciplined team under Dotson, year in and year out. I mean, he's had his shallow seasons too, but he's a perennial winner. The biggest knock on Woodside and Dotson is advancing in the postseason. For example, last year they lost to Oscar Smith 52-7 in the postseason. The last time Warwick made the postseason was 2011. Warwick went 2-8 last year, 0-10 in 2013, 4-6 in 2012. So they need a win. They need a win now.
Yeah, and
it's been a while.
It has been, and you're hoping.
And people always say Menchville. Warwick's had the issue too.
Warwick has, and we're going to see if Coach Hairston can kind of bring this culture back. And the thing about Woodside, though, that you mentioned, Greg, and the way they've performed in the postseason, they haven't had the greatest success. But I do think with Coach Dotson, you've had that consistency.
At least getting there.
You've got a foundation of making the postseason, and I think, if things can line up the right way, especially with some of the talent we see, maybe they can make some noise in the postseason.
Warwick on the ground, not much real estate there as we get to the 2-minute mark here of the first quarter. And Woodside sustained.
Yeah, Woodside has got to keep things going, and they've got the talent. They might not have had the same amount of talent that they've had in years past, but, just looking at their 2 skill positions right now, you got Tyre Tyler, who is a very solid quarterback, and Tamir Walker. We've been calling his name all night, folks. Tamir Walker is a great running back. He doesn't have the biggest size, but he has got speed. He's got quickness. He can catch out of the backfield, and he's got good vision out there when he's running. So I think if those guys can keep this offense going and the defense can step up, Woodside, they might be able to make some noise in the postseason.
21-zip Woodside, Warwick one right to left in the white uniforms. And they get a little bit of daylight there.
If there's been one weakness tonight, Greg, I would say it's been that interior defense for the Woodside Wolverines. You know, Warwick has been able to run on them tonight. They just haven't been able to capitalize on those big runs.
Both teams playing 6 of their 10 games here at Todd Stadium.
It's no real home field advantage here, even though Woodside is technically the home team tonight. It's pretty much the same old, same old. And, of course, folks, tell your friends about NNPSTV.com. Why would you keep this greatness to yourself? Go out and tell your friends.
When the light comes on, the green comes out.
There you go. It's all about the bright lights, the lights, camera, action here, and the kids know when the TV truck is in town. They know they're going to step their game up because this is the game of the week. And, of course, you're watching it on Newport News' premier TV channel, NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. And don't forget, folks, the sports scene on 1650 AM each Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And you can also check it out on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT.
102 left in the first quarter. 21-zip Woodside. Made the postseason last year. Of course, losing to Oscar Smith, who's been a perennial power. Had Philip Sims play there a few years ago, played for Alabama and Virginia. Had a tryout with the Cardinals, did pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually did pretty good in the NFL, more so in college.
And there's so much talent from this area,
right,
Greg, that has made it to that next level. You talked about Aaron Brooks earlier, Michael Vick, and you talk about Ronald Curry. So many guys that played in this area that have made it to that ultimate level in the NFL.
And just like we said from Warwick alone, the Vick brothers and Norm Snead.
Yep.
And, of course, good to see Scorpio and Elton Brown as assistants.
Always good to see Scorpio and Elton, man. It's just almost like a homecoming when we got to see those guys before the game tonight. But, again, you talk about someone like Mike Vick. You talk about someone like Tyrod Taylor, who's now playing for the Buffalo Bills. Even coaches, Mike Tomlin, who's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, cut his teeth down here in Hampton Roads. So there's been a lot of talent to come out of this area, folks.
I totally have the utmost respect for Elton Brown, who played at Heritage in Hampton. What, to me, the epitome of a mature gentleman he is. Warwick on the ground. Warwick's got some daylight in the evening hours. By number 3, respectively, DeMonte, you know it's good.
Another run by the senior running back, D. Good. Let's take a look, Greg. He's going to get the edge right here, and he's got so much speed. He's a compact runner, but if you let him get to the edge, he's going to put a hurting on you. He's going to make you pay.
And Warwick wants to take advantage of this, and Woodside doesn't want to be laxed.
And the thing is, Warwick has done a good job moving the football tonight. There you see, Greg, he just catches that edge, has some blockers out in front of him, explodes through the line, and does a great job picking up positive yardage. Warwick has not had a problem moving the football. It's just been a problem scoring the football tonight.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. It is the Wolverines, the home team tonight, 21. Warwick still trying to get some points. Woodside 21, Warwick nothing. We'll take a break. We'll be back after these messages for the second quarter.
Hi, my name is Barbara Smith, and I'm with the Newport News Public Schools Department of Transportation. At the bus stop, students should stand away from the road in an orderly fashion and always be mindful of other people's property. While on the school bus, students should always behave, keeping their hands, heads, and any other objects inside the bus so as not to distract the driver from keeping their eyes on the road. Motorists must stop for the school bus and remain stopped until the bus's lights are off and begins to move. Here at Transportation, our #1 objective is the safety of the children.
And we are back for the second quarter. And what can Warwick do to turn around, Nate? They're down 21-zip, and against a good disciplined team, that's a big deficit.
Two things that Warwick needs to do. Number one, when they have opportunities in the red zone, they've got to cash in. It's like going to the bank, Greg, and just walking out without cashing your check. They got to cash in on these opportunities. The second thing they've got to do is stop Tamir Walker. And this is a crazy stat, Greg. Tamir Walker already has 170 yards in 1 quarter's worth of work.
12-minute quarters. Warwick on the throw. Dangerous. Really uncalled for, incomplete. By number 12, DJ Nunn.
Very fortunate right there by DJ Nunn that was not picked off. You can't play with these opportunities that you get when you have to score, because Woodside is not a team that you want to let play with lightly, and so Warwick has got to go in. They've got to come away with at least 3 points, Greg. That's the minimum they should expect from this trip down here on this side of the field. They've got to make some points. They've got to stop some of that momentum and try to turn the tide on this Woodside team.
21 zip. Woodside work one left to right in the white uniforms. Still just kind of little loss of confidence there by the Raiders, really unsure of what they're going to do on this play. And the defense can seize that opportunity. And you can't give a team like Woodside extra reason to be proactive on defense.
No, it's like a shark. The shark smells blood in the water, and he's going to attack. Same thing with this Woodside Wolverines team. You cannot show them weakness. You cannot give them opportunities to put you away. And so right now, Warwick has got to take care of this football. They can't afford another fumble like they had in the first quarter. They got to try to get some points, whether it's on the ground or through the air. They need to make something happen right now.
$11:15 left till intermission. 21 zip Woodside.
Warwick went for the screen pass right there, trying to pick up the first down.
And Warwick, of course, looked this year to DJ Nunn and DeMonte Good and Elijah Anderson. Woodside to Tyler and Walker and, of course, Lee.
Yeah, and for Woodside, I've been really impressed with their offense tonight. Their defense not so much, though, Greg, because as we've seen, Warwick's been able to move that ball up and down the field. Just once they've gotten to the red zone, things have gotten bogged down.
What you can say, folks, that pretty much eliminates A's on the report card.
It's a little sneak preview.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Because Hampton and Phoebus aren't so forgiving.
No, Hampton and Phoebus, you cannot afford to make simple mistakes like that. There you see folks to score 21-0, the Wolverines on top of the Raiders right now.
And the throw to nobody, incomplete. And again, usually in high school football, the running game is way ahead of the passing game.
Yeah, and especially in the Peninsula District, especially in Newport News. You know, we've had a history, a heritage, if you will, of great running teams, passing not so much. And, of course, folks, you're watching Newport News' premier TV channel, NNPS TV. And shout out to everybody online watching us at nnpstv.com.
See Dotson right there. Realizes he's on TV tonight. Always wants to do well. Took his team to South Carolina.
Yeah, that was, even though they didn't come away with the win, Greg, I think they learned something from that game. Going on the road, playing in a different stadium, playing in a different state against a tougher team. I think that's a good learning experience for this young team.
Coach Kaz did that at Bethel one year, took him to Ohio to take on Moeller. And Woodside, all this daylight, like a track meet here at Todd Stadium, pushing the 50. Pushing the 50. Who else? Corey Harrison getting all wet. No umbrella.
He's feeling the rain right now.
One thing about him, he doesn't surround himself around any assistants or headphones either. He wants to soak it in.
He wants to soak it in. Well, this is a deluge right now, Greg. This is a monsoon. Let's take a look at this run. Again, getting to the edge. Who else? Excellent run right there. And there you see, just does a great job evading tacklers.
Like a train in the night.
Like a train in the night. Excellent job by the Woodside Wolverines on the ground. And that's what's so bad. That's what's so bad about it, because, you know, not only do you have to worry about Tamir Walker, but now you have to worry about D'Angelo Chesson. And D'Angelo Chesson came in, was a great change of pace back for the Wolverines and did a good job picking up the yardage.
10:04 left. Still 21-zip Woodside. Greg Pickaveros, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. And Pizza and Football presented by Fazoli's.com. You talk about college ranks, Virginia Tech, of course. You got some big games coming up against Pittsburgh and NC State. Virginia's got their ACC schedule in front of them. Of course, the Redskins have a big game against the Eagles on the 4th of October.
Yeah, and Virginia, you know, I'm a fan of Mike London. You know, when he first got the job, I was really impressed with how he came down here to Newport News specifically and made himself known to the coaches and the kids in the area. But unfortunately, the wins have not been there on the field. There you see a good shot of Coach Dodson getting his guys ready to go out for this next series. But I hope the best for Coach London, but if he doesn't get it done this year, I think his time might be short in Charlottesville.
Is Corey Harrison just letting the rain come on down? I saw you standing in the rain. Right?
I saw you walking in the rain.
Standing, walking, running, it don't matter.
Oh, man.
Wolverines on the ground. Nowhere. Good defense. Good defensive line pressure by the Raiders.
Yeah, great job by the Raiders getting penetration right there, bringing that running play down in the backfield. And this is a big stand right now for the Warwick defense. Here we're going to take a look at it again, folks. Just this surge that the Warwick defense gets. Right here, led by the senior Malik Harris. There you see just a good push right there.
And Walker was in motion, too.
Walker was in motion, but the Warwick defense did a good job staying at home. They weren't fooled.
And Warwick's got to get a lot of those little plays and make an effort and capitalize on it.
And that's why not scoring on that last possession that Warwick had really hurts him right now.
And Woodside just keeping it on the ground, almost like a Mike Tyson knockout.
Wow.
And, of course, again, you see Walker, you give him a chance for a little refresher, and he comes back to run with even more of a burst of speed.
It's almost not fair. It's almost like a video game, and they got the cheat codes. And because, you take Walker out for a couple plays and bring in Chesson, and then you come right back with Walker.
And Nate and I really want to say how well-behaved the assistant coaches are around us tonight in our workspace.
Well, you can
shout out both the Warwick and Woodside assistants.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier the discipline Dotson has. It extends to his coaching staff. Just great guys all, it's good to see good people find success, and Woodside is having success here on the field tonight. And again, this is what it's all about here, folks. This is what it's all about. Warwick has got to find some way to stop this action, find some way to stop this runaway locomotive that is Tamir Walker and the Woodside Wolverines.
Let's don't forget, of course, Woodside lost to L.J. Taylor from a year ago.
Yeah, and showing no signs of missing him, though. It's almost like L.J. who?
Exactly.
Oh.
Of course, the Redskins, RG3's dad was in the news, too, for speeding. Oh, my goodness. And now the father, the son gets in the news.
I'm telling you.
The son, the father gets in the news.
I think, Greg, and a lot of people are, talking about the quarterback situation in D.C. I think the best thing for both sides would probably be RG3 go his way, the Redskins go another way. And I don't think Kirk Cousins is the answer, though.
I don't know about the long term either, but it's almost like they're treating RG3 like Thanksgiving and they're closing the door on him. That's kind of bad.
And they're making him sit at the kids' table.
Yeah. You and I sat at the kids' table for a long time, too. We're at 17, I think.
I'm telling you, finally I was caught up into the big show. It was like coming up to the majors.
8:31 left to intermission. Glad they play in the rain. This is what football is all about, the rain, the snow, just good football weather. It's still very humid out.
Yeah, this is great football weather right here.
Cheerleaders don't mind getting a little wet. Got the rain gear on, respectively.
Look like superheroes out there with all those ponchos.
Speaking of that, Batman and Superman coming out next year.
Yes, that is going to be interesting. And I know you're a big fan of the superhero movies.
Still like seeing Batman fighting Superman. It's kind of weird. Thought they got along.
Greg, sometimes, people have disagreements.
It's true. Walker again on the outside, looking like Rodney Howard did at Bethel all these years.
Wow.
Great run there again by number 23, Tamir Walker. Only a junior, too, so he'll probably be the hands-on best player in the district next year.
I'm telling you, not only he had a 1,000-yard season his sophomore year, he's having a great night tonight. And like you said, he's got one more year. He is a very excellent piece of the puzzle, especially in this wing T offense.
Woodside's only had 2 coaches in 20 years.
And that consistency breeds success. Unfortunately, the last game we had, Greg, we talked about Menchfield. 3 different coaches over the course of 5 years. You're not going to build consistency. You're not going to build a culture of winning when you have that much turnover. Woodside, like you mentioned, 2 coaches in the 20-year history of the school, and that's why they've had such continued success.
You see the referee there, Bill Dozier. And Warwick's had some consistency too, but the last several years they haven't.
Right. You talked about
after Juan Jackson left.
Right. There was some consistency through Reamon and then Juan Jackson, but then after that, it's been a little shaky lately. But that's why Coach Hairston now is trying to steady the ship.
Dotson is upset. Well, glad to see Danny get a little fire in him right there.
I'm telling him.
Learned a lot from Jimmy Laycock and Wade Mary.
Danny's out there like Adele. I seen fire through the rain tonight.
Danny is agreeing to disagree with Bill Dozier.
Yeah, he is hot.
You know, that's what it's about. Get the steam off during football. That's what football and sports is all about. Get the steam off.
Well,
this is where you do. This is the only sport you're allowed to hit somebody.
And that's the thing I like about Coach Dotson, though. Like, we see him get very passionate right there, but unlike some coaches, like the Florida coach, he's not losing control.
Right. The Florida coach, he's irrelevant to me.
Like Danny Dotson still, even though he was upset, he had discipline. He was composed.
And you got to have thick skin as a coach, as a player, and as an official.
You do.
And as a broadcaster.
As a broadcaster, absolutely.
Nate and I are a perfect record up here.
We are undefeated, Greg.
And we get the last word, too.
And
imagine you and I coaching, we would definitely have a 10-0 record, though.
I'm telling you. And if we do make a mistake, we'll just have Ray Price edit it out.
Yes. That's a good one.
Like, what mistake? And, of course, folks, don't forget, pizza and football, Fazoli's.com, a winning combination. And Hampton Roads spells sports, NNPSTV.com.
And it's 21-0 with 8:16 left of intermission. Woodside threatening again in the rain. We'll see if they can capitalize, respectively. Nothing there. You talk about offense, defense, special teams, and like we said so much before, it's not what you do on game day. It's practice. It's the weight room. It's conditioning. It's academics, athletics, activities, and really having your personal and business life in priority.
Well, there you go. You know, you got to make sure you separate the personal from the professional, and you got to be out here focused on these games. Warwick right there. Good job by Malcolm Hartler on that defense to get in there.
And you're watching Prep Football on Cox Cable 47, FiOS 17 in Newport News, and NNPSTV.com. We want to thank our FiOS friends. 117. 2 channels at once.
Absolutely. 2 channels at once, plus the internet. So we are all around the world, folks.
And, of course, right there.
And of course, at Greg Bick, at Nate Mosaic on Twitter. Hashtag Friday Night Football.
That's it.
We got to see if we can get Ray Price on Twitter one of these days.
Last year, Woodside beat Warwick 35-0. So they're 2 touchdowns away from making that happen again. Again, in 2014, Woodside beat Warwick 35-0. 6:50 left till intermission.
Third down at 18 for the
Warwick just trying to get back to the postseason. But right now, this is not a strong year for the Newport News schools, but you would still think Woodside and Heritage are the 2 strongest.
Yeah, you know, this isn't the strongest Woodside team we've seen, but they're still a very competitive team.
Yes.
And on any given Friday or any given Saturday, you know, one team can come out and beat another one.
And you see how far ahead Walker is ahead of everybody on this field tonight.
Yeah, Walker is a stud. He's not the biggest guy on the field, but he has made the biggest impact tonight, Greg. Almost every offensive series, he's done some great things for Woodside. And, of course, football has one home, and that is NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com.
Also 3 more yards back to the regular 31.
Of course, all these kids trying to get to college if they can, military or the workforce. Great academics, athletics, and shout out to all of our fans from the watching elementary schools, middle schools, and one thing too, you know, our instructors do a great job with the elementary school students and the middle school students too, not just the high school students.
Yeah, it's all about planting those seeds.
And the little kids like to watch us too.
Yes, planting those seeds for the kids so they can have something to aspire to.
Good defense by the Raiders. It's like they're making highlights, but no points in the end zone.
Yeah, this has been a pretty good stand on defense by the Warwick Raiders on this series. Woodside has had a couple good runs with Walker on this drive, but Warwick, for the most part, shut them down.
And a lot of these teams with losing records just need to focus on what they're doing rather than the opponent. Play the ball, play yourself, rather than the opponent.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, Greg. And if you have a losing record, you're not going to win 4 or 5 games in one night. So it's all about putting one foot in front of the other, taking those baby steps, and working your way up to get some consistency.
And I'll tell you, I really think, whether you liked him or not, I really think Newport News misses Tommy Riemann. I mean, he was such a big presence at Warwick, at Ferguson. He was an assistant with Coach Nuttycombe at Menchville. That when you lose a presence like that in a city not known for their football, it's difficult.
Yeah, he not only was he a presence on the football field, but that personality was just big and outgoing.
And Dotson was an assistant for him at Ferguson.
Yep.
like we said. Flags all over the place. Warwick in the white, gold, and red. Woodside in the darker uniforms. Greg Pickaveros, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. With 5:26 left to intermission. Warwick needs something quick.
Yeah, Warwick needs something quick. They need something effective. They've got to come out here, Greg, and make a statement. I won't sound like a broken record because I've said it the last two offensive series for the Raiders. They've got to put some points on the board. You cannot continue to fall behind. You cannot continue to go 3 and out on this Woodside.
Keep going
Wolverine
backwards.
Team. The penalties are killing them right there. You see, great job by the cheerleaders out there. Looking like I said, looking like superheroes with all those ponchos.
Always smiling, too.
Yes, I think that's part of the job description. You got to have a great attitude.
And there's number 22, respectively, for the Raiders. Adrian Campbell, AC. Needs some AC up in the booth.
AC, he tried to make a nice little run right there, but the Woodside Wolverine defense cut him off. It was like, yo, Adrian, you're not running past us.
Number 55.
Of course, the late great Thad Madden coach Warwick, we mentioned from 71 to 80. He had great players like Joe Slade, Stevie Savridis. One of Madden's last games, yours truly rode on the bus with the Warwick team as an 8th grader. What a big thrill. Nobody said a word on the bus the entire way. It was like from Warwick, from Newport News to Portsmouth, nobody said a word. They respected Coach Madden that much.
Yes, and that's,
to me, the all-time best coach in Newport News was Coach Nutty Cone.
That's the thing I've loved about Newport News football, just the history, the lineage. You talk about great coaches like Coach Madden, great coaches like Coach Nutty Cone, people that have accomplished championships like Coach John Quillen at Heritage High School, the athletes that we've had. It's just a great tradition here in Newport News with high school football.
All the stuff you do during practice, you want it to pay dividends now. Incomplete. If it doesn't render during game day, practice don't count.
Right. You're going to play the way that you practice. And right there we just saw another incomplete play. The receiver and the quarterback not on the same page. I don't even know if they were in the same book.
And that's a good point, too, because you see during the NFL, if they play a game on Sunday, they cool off for a few days before they charge back up. That's why it's so difficult to play Thursday night games, and the home team always has the advantage on a Thursday night game.
Yeah, man, so often those Thursday night games are sloppy. So often those Thursday night games, you'll see more penalties.
Past our bedtime, too.
Past your bedtime. I think those Redskins will put you to sleep, those Thursday night games.
Incomplete in the rain.
Overthrew. There was nobody in that vicinity of that football that was wearing a Warwick jersey. Just a bad pass right there by the quarterback. Unfortunately, I think Warwick is in a position, Greg, where they're not usually a team that throws the ball this much.
And they're playing catch-up now.
When you're playing catch-up, you got to be forced to do things you don't normally do.
In the punt formation for the Raiders, number 17, Connor Murphy.
Of course, folks, don't forget Newport News premier TV channel right here, NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com, your home for high school football.
And the punt,
Travis Williams back deep for
kind of roll it, get Nate. Decent roll. Just shy of the 40. Don't forget, save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival, October 22nd to 24th. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org, an indoor event inside the Hellenic Center. Great food, free admission, free parking. Of course, sponsor of the Dr. Mary V. Bickaveros Memorial Tennis Tournament in 2016, as they have been for several years.
And now you just got me thinking of baklava and gyros and all that good stuff.
Can you imagine a buffet of gyros and souvlaki? Unbelievable. Could you imagine that? I'm not giving us any ideas of the Greek festival. But can you imagine a buffet?
Wow.
That would be unbelievable. All you can eat?
I think they'd have to get
$20 all you can eat.
Had to get a wheelbarrow so they could wheel me home.
Goodness, that would be nice. That ain't happening, though. Yours truly's got some influence, not that much. Woodside again, like a track meet again. And, of course, if it's not Walker, Nate, who else is it? D'Angelo Chesson, the train.
I'm telling you, D'Angelo Chesson.
The train.
Great run. Let's take a look, folks.
Choo-choo train.
Chesson's a junior as well, so they're going to have both Walker and Chesson back next year.
You rest one up, the other one does well.
Wow, let's take a look. Chesson, he's going to hit that corner, has a nice job for his lead blocker, and right there, Chesson, as soon as he hits the corner, he's off to the races, folks.
I tell you, Walker reminds me a lot of Archie Griffin that played at Ohio State. A lot short, but a lot of speed.
Yes. Good hands out of the backfield.
And there he goes again. Unbelievable how much. And look at that. Still on his feet. And he runs so well.
Stop it. Wow.
Touchdown, like a pinball machine. He's down but not out, folks. There he is. Number 23, Tamir Walker.
Wow.
5'8", 165 in holding.
That might have been one of the best runs I have seen in all the years covering high school football, Greg. You're going to see he goes to the right, gets stopped right there. The progress is
Where's
stopped.
the tackling at? Where's the tackling?
And right here, he says, okay, you're not going to let me go in this way? Much like that cat from the Flintstones, you close the door, I'm going to jump through the window. Here he comes, TW, making big things happen, big things stopping. Good job by TW. You're doing a great job right there. Warwick tried to stop him, but another touchdown run.
I think Warwick's in the truck watching our telecast.
Whew. Another touchdown run by Walker.
He walked right on in. Special teams kick. It's high. Kick is up.
Wow.
No good. No dice. The price is not right.
You mentioned Archie Griffin.
He looks just like Archie Griffin.
The more I
Go
see,
to YouTube, folks, and type in Archie Griffin, Ohio State. Runs exactly like number 23, Tamir Walker.
Well, the more I see him, I see Archie Griffin, but I also see a shorter, more compact version of Michael Johnson that ran for Heritage back in the day. He's not as big as Johnson.
Michael Johnson went to Virginia.
Yep, he's not as big as Michael Johnson, but he still has that breakaway speed.
And that was tough for Michael Johnson the year after they won the state championship.
Yeah.
Had a winning record, but not quite the same.
Yeah, and Michael
It was
Johnson.
the after effects of Quillen, of course.
To me, Johnson's still one of my favorite running backs in the history of Newport News football. Like, I think he was extremely talented. Unfortunately, things didn't work out.
We did 7 games that year in 2000.
Did
the state championship game against Dinwiddie.
It didn't pan out as well as we thought at UVA with Al Grove.
But at least he went there.
But he was able to go there, get an education, and he's just a
good kid,
a great kid. And we had the chance.
Now, he's not much younger than we are, so what are we talking about?
Time flies, Greg.
He's like Danny Glover. What did Danny Glover say, Nate?
Getting too old for this, Greg. I think that's what Coach Harrison's saying right now. Every time he sees Tamir Walker, getting too old for this.
Walk on the special teams. That was Tracy Henry, respectively, for the Raiders. Walking the white, gold, and red, trailing at 27-zip as the rain is coming down, Nate.
Whew. I don't know what's worse for the Raiders right now, the rain or the touchdown onslaught that Woodside is putting.
Want to give us a scoring recap, Nate?
All right, folks, here's a scoring recap presented by Fazoli's.com Pizza and Football. It's a pretty easy recap, Greg. Touchdown run by Tamir Walker. Touchdown run by Tamir Walker. Touchdown run by Tamir Walker, all in the first quarter. And then, what do you know? We just saw it moments ago. Another touchdown run by Tamir Walker. And, of course, that is your score currently. Woodside is on top, 27-0. Warwick has got to make something happen right now, Greg.
Just like Red Fox would say it.
I think Coach Harrison's on the sideline. They're coming to join you, Elizabeth. It's too real.
Boy, he has that look like looking at Lamont, when Red Fox looked at Lamont, he wasn't too happy either.
You big dummy. Looking like your Aunt Esther. Hey, but
Nate is just a comedian up in the booth tonight.
We talked to Coach Harrison before the game, and he was very confident about his team coming into this game. But unfortunately, they have not capitalized on some of their opportunities in the red zone. They fumbled the football, and they've let Tamir Walker run wild tonight. Walker already over 200 yards for the game, Greg. That is just amazing. He get in this game with 500 yards rushing.
2:42 left, 27-zip.
And as they say, Greg, it gets late early.
Yes, it does. Yogi Berra, former Mets and Yankees manager.
Late, great Yogi Berra. We lost recently.
And Joe Torre, of course, managed the Mets and the Yankees, too.
Yeah, and from everything you heard,
baseball right now is exciting.
This is probably my favorite time of year, Greg. You know, we've got football, we've got high school, NFL, and college. We've got baseball heading into the playoffs. This is probably my favorite.
NFL's been kind of slow so far.
NFL's been very interesting. There's a lot of teams at 0-2 and 0-3 that I didn't think would be at this point in the season. But football, college, high school, the pros, plus baseball in the postseason, you can't beat it.
Screen pass. Warwick's done that very well tonight, and they drop it in the rain. We'll see who's got it. Wait for the official count. Looks like turnover. No Apple turnover either.
No Apple turnovers or anything like that. Another misfortunate play right here by the Warwick Raiders. Let's take a look at it, folks. Sorry.
Not pretty, Nate. Not pretty.
Bringing you this replay. Here you're going to see. He's trying to catch the edge, but just a great job of the Woodside Wolverines getting in there, putting the helmet on that football, knocking it loose, and the presence of mind to recover it. Another bad break for the Warwick Raiders.
2:07 left till intermission. Greg Bickaveros, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed our game versus Menchville and Heritage. Always exciting to bring you high school football, our 25th year. Intermission means halftime, my friends. Of course.
Things are just not
No 2-minute warning in high school, though.
No.
Maybe they should have a 2-minute warning. Why not?
Warwick could use a 2-minute warning, a two-quarter warning at this point for the Raiders. I mean, I haven't seen something go this bad, this fast since the last time Kanye West was at an award ceremony. I'm going to let you finish, Greg.
Boy, that's a tough one to rebound from there, Nate. I'll say this about Kanye West. He's smart not getting involved in that drama of the Kardashian TV show.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
The Kardashians are full of drama. Reality TV still a big thing in 2015. A lot of stuff going on.
Even former Olympic athletes, too.
Yeah, it's reality TV, Greg. That's the new thing. Real housewives and basketball wives and rock star wives. All these wives on these shows, Greg.
You want to see Danny Dotson in a reality show? No, football is a really good reality show, but that's live reality.
Yeah, this is the ultimate reality show. Sports is the ultimate reality.
Of course, injury on the field. We hate to see anybody upset or hurt.
That's a class move right there by Coach Dotson going over to check on the opposing player.
As we said, Scorpio and Elton Brown, both assistants for the Raiders. Elton played for Al Groh in Virginia. To me, probably one of the best players in Virginia football history was Elton Brown.
Yeah.
Great guy up front. Played for the Cardinals.
Yes, Elton Brown had a very nice career. And then, again, like you said, Greg,
utmost respect for Elton Brown.
Always a gentleman.
He is just what you call the epitome of a gentleman. We'll see what the injury is. We hate to see now this, the slippery but wet analogy is very true in football.
Yeah, and it's hard because, we love football. We love bringing you these games every week, folks. But, it is a collision sport. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And things like this can happen from time to time. And you just hope for the best for that young man out there.
Yep. So you got to take your time because and my thing is, where is the medical crews when you need them? This is exactly why the college, and the NFL, they got ambulances on the standby. You never know what the trainers are seeing when the eye of a medical professional is saying.
And something like this, when I was at Menchville, unfortunately, there were opportunities when one of my teammates would get hurt and they'd have to bring out the ambulance and they'd have to, cart him off the field. And it's just the type of situation where, yes, you've got a game to play, but your mind is not there anymore. Your heart isn't there anymore because you're thinking about your brother that's not there beside you. And so, again, we hope for the best for this young man. And for the Warwick Raiders, a tough situation has become tougher.
See the flag right there, of course. Big deal with the Pope being in town in the month of September. Was an honor to see him. But of course, when you're losing and it's the end of the week and you're tired, your energy level is drained, and you got to play a physical sport for 48 minutes. It's tough.
You know, it's not
And
just
your confidence goes down.
right, not just the physical aspect of the game, but the mental aspect as well, like you mentioned, Greg. And, you know, these kids are student athletes. Let's not forget that, folks. You know, they're going to class 5 days a week. They're practicing 5 days a week. And then, you know, the culmination of that is these Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. And, you know, when you go out there and you put so much into the game, and you see the fans out there, you put so much into what goes on out on the field, you hate to see something like this happen where you got a player down on the field.
Looks like the injured player is for Warwick, number 11, Elijah Anderson. We wish him all the best. I did see him move a little bit. Again, I'm asking, where are the Newport News ambulances at when we need them? They should be here. I mean, the fire department is right near this building.
Yep.
That's a fact, folks. All right, it is 27-0. It's all Woodside. We'll take a break. We'll be back after these messages.
The Telecommunications Center is an award-winning television production facility for high school students in the Newport News Public Schools. Students can learn studio, remote production, audio operation, editing, directing, and much more. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment. The center has graduates working for MTV, ESPN, CNN, Entertainment Tonight, and Tyler Perry Studios. If you want to jumpstart your career in broadcasting, contact your guidance counselor or call 591-4687.
Here at the Peninsula SPCA, there are many ways to help out the animals in the community. There is pet adoption, foster care, volunteer work, and even a petting zoo. All these animals need as much help as they can get, and you can be there for them to give them that help. For more information, visit peninsulaspca.org.
There's a shirt right there. Brand new shirts from our crew this year for the 2015-16 year. Of course, very sharp shirt right there, worn by. There's Brandon. Really, Brandon does the graphics. Good job. And of course, we see right there number 11. Great camera work by our staff there by number 11, Elijah Anderson. All the best to Elijah.
Yeah, good to see him up and being able to walk off the field under his own power. But, yeah, it was a scary scene there for a while, Greg.
No, I mean, and I tell you, that's why you have ambulances at college and professional football games, because you never know. It's slippery but wet, but it's dangerous. Imagine just trying to walk in the rain, let alone play football in the rain.
Yeah,
2:07 left till intermission.
Warwick's got to find a way to focus and get back into the game.
And the Wolverines on the outside, well rested now. Of course, we saw the SPCA. What's your favorite pet?
I'm telling you, Greg, I'm a dog person. I love dogs. I had a Labrador, a Doberman Labrador for a while, and you know, I'm just a big dog person. I think cats are okay, but I'm not a big cat fan. Fish are boring to me, so a dog guy all the way.
There you go. And the Wolverines on the ground trying to get some more points before halftime, and they're already up 27-0. They're just trying to put this game away early.
What about you, Greg? Are you a fan of dogs or cats or
I like
exotic
rabbits.
animals?
I actually like rabbits.
Really?
Big fan of rabbits, yep.
Okay.
1:25 left. So the hourglass is ticking for both teams here. We'll see if Dotson's squad can get back into the end zone here, as they are now in the red zone, of course. Going right to left in the dark uniforms. Just keep on pounding it in. Getting close. You can see how disciplined this Woodside team is.
Yeah, just slowly, methodically working their way down the field, getting close to that end zone down at the 1 yard line now. And the issue right now for Warwick is two things. One, they're tired. They've been beat up all game, and 2, they're coming off about a 10-minute layoff while they were seeing what was going on.
Well, if they're tired, they should.
With Elijah, and you know what? They got to call Fazoli's. Fazoli's.com, pizza and football. It's a winning combination.
And, of course, the final 30 seconds left in the second quarter. And who else? Number 23, Nate, add him to that list. Tamir Walker trying to make the calculator go haywire.
I'm telling you what, Tamir Walker, he must be trying to set some type of record or something tonight, because that is the 5th score by Walker. Great job by the Woodside Wolverines offense. TW getting into the end zone, doing what he does best. And let me tell you, Greg, this kid, like you mentioned, he's only a junior. He's going to get better, folks. I've been very impressed with the way he's run the football tonight.
If this were a grocery store, he hit every line tonight. Goodness gracious.
He looked like he'd been running through the express lane tonight.
Woodside just pounding the score on Warwick, on TV, on the internet. You see what you get. On the outside, 2 more points. 2 more points for the Wolverines.
Wow.
.35 with 23 seconds left in the second quarter.
The domination by Woodside continues. Again, 2-point conversion, 35-0 is the score. Let's take a look, folks. Here you're going to see Woodside doing a great job. It's kind of the same old song we've seen all night. Nice job moving to the outside. And again, just catching the edge, and he's going to punch it in. 2-point conversion for the Woodside Wolverines.
See the cheerleaders trying to stay dry, but when you're up 35-0, you don't mind. All Woodside tonight. We don't want Nate to start singing that song in the third quarter.
I was going to say, is it too early to start singing Danny Don?
It's getting close. They've played an hour and 18 minutes already. Every time you score, you got to stop the clock, of course. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, our entire NNPSTV.com crew with you here at Todd Stadium in Newport News, Virginia. So many great college athletes over the years. I guess one of the biggest highlights we had showcasing our stuff, too, was when Tech and Florida State were in the national championship. They got some highlights of our games and put them on ABC's air. Really great. Musburger acknowledged it. Really, really a big accomplishment for us.
I mean, we've had so many great athletes from this area, but you could make the argument, Michael Vick is arguably one of the biggest athletes to
play for the
come out of
Steelers,
this
but
area.
hasn't played much, but still at 35, he's happy to be on a squad.
Yeah, and I think that, it's a great thing for him to be in Pittsburgh. And they had that Newport News connection with him and head coach Mike Tomlin.
Didn't work out too well for Webb, though.
No, unfortunately not. But I think the good thing about Mike Vick is now, he's not the player that he once was when he was younger, but he's smarter.
Almost like an assistant coach on the field.
Yes, he's got so much leadership now to give to these young players.
And smart move by Warwick, just kneeing it. Trailing it 35-0. They just need to regroup, reset, replenish here at the intermission as they're really trailing it tough. Can't say really it's a road game because they play all their games here. It is halftime, folks, with the score. Woodside 35, Warwick nothing. We'll come back for the third quarter shortly.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer.
Our younger students have the right idea. Today's leading careers are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Newport News Public Schools has embarked on an aggressive STEM education initiative that prepares students to take full advantage of STEM opportunities in higher education and career fields. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
All right, welcome back to Todd Stadium and Newport News for the start of the third quarter. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. 35-0, and Nate, it's really been all Woodside tonight.
I'm telling you what, Greg, I came to a football game and a track meet broke out. It has been all Woodside all the time thus far. Big lead by the Wolverines, and it's been very exciting, folks. So this second half is going to tell a lot about this Warwick Raiders squad. And we've got DeAndre up in here with his booth, guest announcer joining us for the second half. You saw the first half out there, brother. What did you think about the first half of this football game?
Well, I would say to start out with, I guess Warwick didn't come with their A game for the first half, and Woodside just took advantage of it, put points on the board. So I'm hoping that the Warwick coach puts something to their heads for the second half so they can come out and try to pull out a win for the game.
That's going to be the big question. What does Coach Hairston tell these guys?
Right, the second half adjustments, and we'll see it as we get down to the field to start the third quarter right now, as both teams, of course, warming up. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. And DeAndre Foscue. Nate will be working with him throughout the second half. Nate, of course, it's a totally different ballgame in the second half, but that's a big mountain to overcome.
It is, and we've seen Tamir Walker run through this Warwick defense all game long. And then, of course, you had the unfortunate injury where the player was on the field for about 10 minutes. And, of course, that takes not only the rhythm away from the Warwick Raiders, but emotionally that's got to be draining because you're worried about your teammate. You're worried about your friend out there. And so we're going to see what Coach Hairston said to these guys to get them motivated for this second half.
12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, DeAndre Foscue, glad you're with us. DeAndre, you've done some sideline reporting this year, correct?
Yes, I have. Actually, the last game I did some sideline reporting. So this game I thought I'd take a chance at the booth.
Very good, very good.
You moving on up like George and Weezy.
Yeah, I guess I am.
But as Lee Corso would say,
not so fast, my friend. Oh. Lee Corso still getting it done. Still all that energy year after year.
It's all good. As we start the third quarter here, Wolverines can experiment a little bit probably, but not too much. They want to seal the deal first. And that's been the big issue for all the Newport News schools this year is closing the deal. It's a 48-minute game.
Right. Coach Dotson told us that before the game. One of the key issues for this Wolverine team is closing the games out. And I want to see, Greg, if they rely on Tamir Walker, who had 174 yards in the first half with 5 touchdowns. Do they rely on him or do they spell him more with Chesson in the second half?
And, of course, the scoring repack.
Brought to you by Fazoli's Pizza and Football, Fazoli's.com.
Our scoring recap as well. 35-zip. It's been all Tamir Walker, TW.
Just take one
like his own airlines tonight. Ground and air both.
I was going to say, take one touchdown, multiply it by 5, and that's your scoring recap.
Hey, what are you flying on your next trip? I'll take TW. No waiting the lines there. Here come the Raiders. And they need something. They need a couple of sparks. They need some firecrackers, whatever they can get. Glad you're with us right here on Cox Cable 47, 517 and NNPSTV.com.
Of course, our friends at Fazoli's on Jefferson Avenue, 757-595.
596.
596. Need my glasses.
Fazoli's.com.
Yeah, go to the internet. Fazoli's.com. Pizza and football, a winning combination.
Nate's giving out personal phone numbers.
Sure am. Thank you, Michelle, at Fazoli's for all that she has done for the crew. A great establishment. You talk about tradition, Greg. Fazoli's, great tradition here in Newport News.
Absolutely. Of course, feeding our crew, let them feed you for your catering needs, football, whatever. All right, 11 minutes left to the third quarter. Warwick needs to be proactive, and they need to be proactive now. Offense, defense, special teams, it comes down to the second half for them. They almost pretty much have to score on every opportunity they can get, offense and defense.
They do, and then we see right here, can Warwick get something started?
Looks like it's cleared up a little bit, DeAndre.
Well, I will also say with you, I think Warwick's performance in the second half will be based off this first drive. If they come out smoking on this first drive, get a touchdown, get a field goal, that'll kind of play out the second quarter. Now, if they don't get that far, then we'll kind of know which way the game's going to play out.
And that's true. We saw the special teams where Woodside took advantage early, the kickoff. And, of course, the teams are so vulnerable coming out of the halftime, first, second quarter, third, and fourth. Yep. How are you doing that first series?
And this is going to be Warwick's best shot. There you see our officials.
And Warwick needs that advantage.
Big-time advantage right there for the Raiders on that penalty. But this is going to be Warwick's best shot, speaking of what DeAndre was talking about. They've had time to rest, catch a breath, get some fluids in them, get that rousing speech by Coach Hairston. This is going to be the best offensive series for Warwick all second half. So if they don't score on this, it's going to be pretty much lights out for the Raiders. So they've got to come out here and make a statement.
You don't want Nate to start singing in the third quarter. And the Raiders keeping you on the ground. And the biggest issue now is going to be the clock.
The clock is not Warwick's friend. They've got to come out here. They've got to score in a hurry, but they don't want to be rushed either. That's the big thing. You still have to play within your offense. You still have to play within yourself and just make some plays. That's all it's going to take. You don't have a play in the playbook, Greg, that's a 35-point play. So you're going to have to work this thing down, take some baby steps, one play after another, and work your way back into this game, and we'll see if the Raiders have what it takes against a very stout Woodside defense.
It's just funny. On cue, I just heard from Michelle from Fazoli saying thank you. She's watching our replay of Menchville and Heritage.
All right. Shout out to you, Michelle. Again, Fazoli's fed our crew. Let them feed your crew. Fazoli's.com. Football and pizza. It's a great combination.
We get so much feedback, and we want to thank the public all the time for the feedback, whether it's in person, over the phone, or Twitter. I'm
telling you, Twitter is the new thing these days, and it's been around for a while, but for a while, I don't know about you guys, but it seemed like Twitter had taken a dip, but Twitter has come back with a vengeance. Now everybody's out there tweeting their pictures, tweeting their opinions. Sometimes people are getting into trouble, but Twitter is a great thing. And don't forget, folks, another great thing, the sports scene on 1650 AM each Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Also, you can find it on tunein.com. Type in WHKT. And you are watching Prep Football on Cox Cable Channel 47 in Newport News, Verizon Fios 17, and NNPSTV.com.
Tweet us at Greg Bick, at N8Mosaic, M-O-Z-A-I-K. Or as our good buddy Isaiah Thomas, Zeke. And before you know it, it'll be time for the NBA, too.
I'm telling you, time flies. Speaking of flying, a great connection right there by the Warwick Raiders, and that was number 8 for the Wolverines. Kamari Jackson on the stop, but a great forward momentum for the Warwick Raiders.
And we'll see, DeAndre, if Warwick can sustain this drive.
Yeah, all you got to do is keep first down to first down. Don't bite off too much that you can chew. Just keep moving the sticks down the field, and then eventually you get the touchdown.
You got to walk before you can run.
In Nate and I's case, got to get off the couch to walk in run. Warwick just trying to keep some momentum going. They desperately need a score for the confidence of nothing else. In 2015 already, Bethel shut out Warwick 31-0. Woodside has not had to worry about shutout on offense or defense. Warwick only averaging 12 points a game on offense in 2015. Not the most highly explosive team, but they got some good players and none and good.
The thing with Warwick,
I'm not talking about nobody's good. I'm just saying their names are none and good. Incomplete.
The thing with Warwick is they're a ground and pound team, and this is where we're going to see, Greg, that they might run into some problems here, because when you're a team that likes to run the ball between the tackles and you're forced to pass the ball because you're behind, you get out of what you normally do. You get out of your element, you get out of your rhythm, and that's where mistakes happen.
And the distractions. The worst thing any coach or owner wants is distraction. The rain can be distraction. Injuries can be distraction. Yep. Losing can be a distraction. And in football, it's like an idle mind is the worst thing. You have a week to think about it.
Yes. And that's why Danny Dotz has done such a great job with this discipline. Wow.
Good example right there. Number 12, none, just drops down on the ground. Slippery but wet.
Yeah. That looked like a bad snap right there. And again, when you're playing in the weather conditions that we have tonight out here, it's fun for us at home watching this, and it's fun for us up here in the booth where we're nice and dry. But when you're out there on the field and you got sweat and you got the rain and everything affecting the football, that's when mistakes happen. And unfortunately, we talked about it, DeAndre. This was the drive where Warwick needed to score, and they come away with empty-handed again.
With that being said, all the conditions, you still can't let that get in your head. I know both teams came here to win. So with that being in your head, doesn't matter what's going on, you have to come here to win and put all the other things aside and win the football game pretty much.
And the Raiders try to take advantage of the miscue. It's been just a tough haul again.
Warwick with a little trickeration on fourth down. I admire the play.
And this clock is flying in the third quarter. Coach Harrison right there. Had him on sports highlights. Real gentleman.
Gutsy play call by Coach Harrison to go for it, but I like it. What do he got to lose at this point, Greg?
Right. You see, he don't talk to nobody. No assistants, no headgear. He soaks it all in. He just, if you're going to take the win, take it. Take the loss, take it like a man.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah, even
real good guy.
Wins haven't come that easy for Coach Harrison. I like the discipline that he brings. I like the toughness he brings to the team.
He takes it personal, though.
And, of course, he's part of the Bald Brotherhood, so shout out to everybody out there with a bald head like myself.
Yours truly ain't got much either. Walk around and do their best track impersonation. And the Raiders just stumbling over each other. Boy, oh boy.
This running attack out of the wing T has been just devastating for Woodside.
It could be Banks. It could be Chesson. It could be Walker. So many weapons Woodside's got.
So many weapons out of that set. And it's the same set Danny Dodson's been running for years.
And that's number 4, Nate, Dimitri Banks. He takes it to the bank.
Banks, he's cashing in. Dimitri Banks cashing in on the interest rate right there. Great job by Dimitri getting to the outside corner, picking up positive yardage.
He's telling Woodside, you know me, I am Mr. Direct Deposit.
Dimitri said, what's in your wallet? I got a first down in mine.
And his name is Banks.
Another great job by the Woodside Wolverines.
It's just a running buffet tonight. Penalty flag. That's number 21, D'Angelo Chesson, the train.
Yeah, Chesson coming off, limping off the field. Looks like
the train.
They got him with that old horse collar. They tried to stop the train. They couldn't take him down, tackling him, but you're going to see on this run, folks, they get the ball to Chesson, and they're going to bring him down by the back of his jersey, and they're reaching up around his neck and his shoulder pads, and that is a horse collar. Here you see it, folks. Right there.
But he kept his composure.
Good
kept his
pursuit
cool.
by Warwick. There you go, pulling back by the jersey.
We've seen this year's been an unfortunate year around the country, not locally, of bad sportsmanship in high school sports.
Yeah, so many bad
coaches
stories.
And players.
Coaches, players, officials getting hurt, and you don't want to see that type of thing. It's all about sportsmanship and competition when you're out here on the football field.
This quarter has flown. 3:40 left in the third quarter. Woodside, the aqua black and white. TW his own airline. He slips. Now he slipped because of the rain there.
Yeah, the rain was the only thing that stopped him from getting in the end zone on that one, slipping and sliding, almost like back in the day, DeAndre, when you had to slip and slide in your backyard with the long plastic, you slid down through it.
Do that electric boogaloo.
With an electric slide. But again, Woodside keeps on moving down the field. Here's the replay.
TW.
Again, he gets to the outside, and he's hit that corner so many times, and they're just not able to stop him before he can get there. And right here, he tries to make a cut, and his feet come out from under him. But if he was able to stay on his feet, that might have been another 6 points right there.
2:50 left till the fourth quarter starts. Close for the Wolverines as they get inches and inches into the red zone, further deeper into the Fazoli's red zone.
And again, don't forget, folks, pizza and football at Fazoli's.com. And tell your friends about us, NNPSTV.com. Newport News premier channel is NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com.
Cheerleaders enjoying themselves. Woodside once again close. And they score again, folks. 41
Wow.
Didn't Yogi say it's getting late early?
Getting late early. QB keeper right there. He fooled everybody. Nice job by Tyer Tyler, the junior quarterback, for another score for the Woodside Wolverines.
T-squared.
T-squared. T-sizzle, if you will.
Where's Q-Tip when you need him?
I don't know where Q-Tip is, but that was a vibrant thing right there, that run he just made. So many weapons on this Woodside team, Greg.
And the extra point, speaking of weapon, is good. It's all good for the Wolverines. 42-0 with 2:16 left in the third quarter. Again, last year they beat Warwick 35-zip. So in the last 2 years, still with the third quarter, Woodside's outscored Warwick 77-0. And we're not even over with in this game yet.
Right, we still got another quarter and 2 minutes left to play in this ball game, so it could get uglier. But again, another great play by the Wolverines, and you mentioned it, man.
And the scoring recap.
Scoring recap, of course. In the first half, it was all Tamir Walker, 5 touchdowns, 3 in the first quarter, 2 in the second quarter. And as we saw right there, Tyer Tyler with the QB keeper runs in for the touchdown. And your score right now is the Woodside Wolverines 42 and the Warwick Raiders with the goose egg. All touchdowns have been on the ground tonight. Great rushing attack by the Woodside Wolverines. And Warwick, unfortunately, we mentioned it, DeAndre. They weren't able to come out and score, and Woodside took advantage.
Now, I would also say Warwick's defense is Woodside's taking advantage of Warwick's defense. They haven't really been throwing the ball. They've been taking advantage of the running plays, and that's how as you said, that's how all their touchdowns have been by runs.
And the Raiders on the special teams by number 22. Respectively, AC, Adrian Campbell, and it's almost insurmountable lead right now. A miracle can only happen for the Raiders because there's just not enough time.
It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take some Hollywood magic, but unfortunately, these are not the Titans with Denzel Washington. These are the Warwick Raiders. I don't think there's a backside George reverse in the playbook that they can run and score a touchdown at the last minute. Again, if you're a fan of running the ball, you got to love this game. Here you see just the excellent explosion. Both teams have run the ball well. Unfortunately, only one team has been able to punch it into the end zone, and that is the Woodside Wolverines.
No his and hers tonight.
It's not his and hers, it's theirs. Woodside is taking all of the cookies tonight. The cookies, the cake, the gyros, the baklava.
Unbelievable. Don't forget Nate's report card coming up in the fourth quarter. Nate's best 5 uniforms of the Newport News schools. And they're all winners, but there's still got to be a 1 through 5.
They're all winners, but somebody's got to finish last.
Right. It can't always be Menchville either. And of course, got the crew list.
Yep, got a crew list.
That might be the most exciting part of the game.
I'm telling you, other than Tamir Walker running the football, the crew list is probably the most exciting thing because these kids are doing a great job out here tonight.
And there's the throw, incomplete. It's like throwing into the empty country in no man's land.
And the problem with what we've seen tonight...
And what you're seeing now, folks, is a running clock. The clock will not stop unless an emergency. And right now, the only emergency is for Ward.
It's a defensive emergency.
So this game will go by pretty quick in the fourth quarter. All right. It's going by quick in the third quarter. The third quarter is almost over. In fact, it is. Woodside 42, Warwick nothing. We'll come back with the fourth quarter after these messages.
Chooses select students to create a great small community. It is located at an airport for applied learning, and is career-oriented for students who are going to pursue aviation in their future. For more information, please contact the Aviation Academy at 757-886-2745.
All right, back to the Fourth quarter, cheerleaders enjoying themselves. It's going to be a running clock here in 8, and really that just hurts Warwick even more. It's 42-0.
Yeah, no favors being done by Warwick, and there you see again the Wolverine cheerleaders with the ice cream and cake dance, doing the whips, doing the nays, doing the Rico Suave. I don't know all these dances you got these days, DeAndre.
I can't even keep up, and I'm pretty close there. I can't even keep up all the dances coming out. It seems like every week, new dance.
Okay, that's the ice cream and cake. Ray Price, our official. He's not just our producer; he's our dance coordinator. He is the choreographer. Ice cream and cake dance.
Don't forget, Nate will rate the top 5 uniforms from 1st to 5th in Newport News.
And even
I think
though
all of them are pretty
Richmond,
good. I'll give them all at least a B.
Yeah, there's no ugly uniforms.
No bad
just
uniform.
some are better than others.
But there is going to be a 1st through 5th.
Wow.
And another turnover.
Wow.
Unbelievable. The clock just keeps ticking, folks. All right, Nate, it is time to rate the replay here.
Let's take a look right here at the replay, folks.
If they don't work on the ground, it sure ain't going to work in the air.
Man, Warwick just trying to hit. Woodside got pressure on DJ. And there you see just a good interception. Great job by the Woodside Wolverines, of course. That was number 8, Kamari Jackson. Of course, William Dixon in on that play. Excellent job by the Wolverine defense.
Stand by for Nate's top 5 uniforms. Just the Newport News. At the 11-minute mark in the 4th quarter, it's 42-0 Woodside. Nate, who from 1st being the best, 5th being the worst, we'll start off with the first, the best uniform.
Go from best to last. All right, my first uniform, and it's not because I'm biased, Greg, but there's something about that purple and gold that always gets my blood pumping. So I'm going to go with Minchville for the best uniform in Newport News. Number 2, a team we're watching tonight. There's something about it, man. They're one of the younger schools in Newport News, but those uniforms have become so recognizable now, and that's Woodside. You see another great run by the Wolverines. So Woodside is number 2 on my list. Number 3, another team we're watching tonight right there. Great shot of the Warwick Raiders, classic uniform, the uniform of Norm Sneed, the uniform of Michael Vick. Warwick is number 3 on my list. Number 4 on the list, Greg, is the Denby Patriots. Denby is number 4 on my list of uniforms, and even though as a Minchville Monarch alum, I have no love lost for Denby, I got to admit those uniforms, the red, white, and blue, are pretty sweet. And last but not least, I guess last and least, Heritage Hurricanes with those maroon and gold. And then the gray ones we saw last game. The gray ones, I was not a fan of the charcoal grays, but to their credit, they do have a state championship to go along with those uniforms.
15 years ago. So your first best uniform was Menchville.
Minchville, Woodside, Warwick, Denby, and Heritage. What about you, Greg?
First Menchville, second Denby, 3rd Warwick, 4th Woodside, 5th Heritage.
So our first and our 5th were our best and our worst were consensus.
That's it. Those are the Nate and Greg Emmy Awards.
That's Fashion Police. Rest in peace, Joan Rivers.
Woodside just pounding it in. Flags all over the place.
Another flag. And again, this is the time of game where you don't want to see people get hurt. The clock is running. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. There's a flag on the play. But right now, if you're Warwick, is there anything positive you can take from this, DeAndre?
I mean, I was in high school a few years ago playing different sports. I would say right now the boys probably aren't taking anything positive from the game. Obviously, from that interception, they're kind of desperate to try anything right now. So they're not really thinking about everything they're doing because there's 42 points on the board. They're losing, they're down. But even with 42 points on the board, you still got to think like you're going to win the game. Something can always happen and you can come out and win the game.
Well, it's the old quicksand theory. Once you start sinking, you fight harder to get out, but that just makes you sink even faster. And unfortunately, that's what Warwick's dealing with, Greg.
And only 8:10 left in this game. 42-0. When there's a rolling clock, it don't stop. It's like it's rolling.
It's like Color Me Bad to the tick-tock, it won't stop.
This clock ain't stopping. At Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight without the S, at N8 Mosaic on Twitter. Tweet. Thank you, Ray Price and company. And, of course, we got the Nate's report card. Nate, go ahead. You better do all this stuff.
I know. I got to get it all.
The game is over. We got the crew list coming up, too. Nate, first of all, for Warwick.
Oh, for the Warwick Raiders. Cover your ears, Raider fans out there in Raider Nation. On offense, I am going to give the Warwick Raiders, you know what, Greg? Even though they haven't scored any points, I'm going to give the offense a C. And I'll tell you why. Because between the tackles, they've been able to run the football with DeMonte Good.
I should have taken your class.
The issue with Warwick has not been moving the football. It's been when they get in the red zone, we haven't seen the efficiency. So I'm going to be nice tonight and give them a C on offense. Now, defense is where it gets real, Greg. Defense?
Could we see the possibility of?
Could we go for the first time in history the dreaded F, Greg? Or will I give them a D for defense?
It is a running clock, too, Nate.
I was nice on offense. On defense, I'm going to grade a little harder. They're going to get the F, Greg, for the first time ever.
Which team?
Warwick is going to get an F
clear
on defense, because they have just been shredded on the ground.
Overall grade?
Overall for Warwick, it's not been a great night. F on defense, C on offense, averages out to a D for the Warwick Raiders tonight.
Let's get to Woodside.
Woodside on offense, man. Can you argue at 42 points? They've been great.
But you're still a tough critic, though.
They've been great. I am a tough critic, though. I'll give them a B on offense.
Okay.
They still could.
The passing game wasn't there.
Yeah, the passing game wasn't there, but their running game out of that wing T was excellent. So they get a B on offense.
The Raiders on a pretty crisp throw right there. Where's that kid been all night? Excellent pass, but incomplete.
On defense, I'll give Woodside a B as well because they allowed some yardage up the middle, but it was a bend but don't break defense. They gave up the yards, but they didn't give up the scores.
That was Najee Funnell.
What
about Pharrell?
Hey, he's not too happy right now.
Overall, offense and defense for Woodside.
So B for offense, B for defense, and overall, I think it's a really solid game, a good quality win for Coach Dodson. They're going to need to tighten some things up against the tougher teams, but I'll give them a B overall tonight.
42-0 Woodside. Look, folks, only 5:35 left in this game. The crowd's getting their money's worth tonight fast. Oh, no, I'm afraid to ask about the atmosphere.
Uh-oh.
But here it is, folks. Nate's atmosphere grade.
The atmosphere. Well, to look at the atmosphere, Greg, I kind of got to be a meteorologist as well as a commentator because not only was the crowd a little sparse tonight, but the rain, I think, kept some folks away, kept them inside to watch TV tonight. But, the fans that are here, they are hyped. The Woodside fans are hyped on this side, especially doing that ice cream and cake dance. So, overall, for the atmosphere, Greg, I'll give the atmosphere a C for tonight.
And Warwick brings in Kamari Jackson. Of course, they needed Jackson at quarterback. It's always a Jackson to the rescue.
I'm telling you. Too bad they don't have Michael Latito out there to moonwalk into the end zone.
And don't forget Reby either.
Oh, Reby. Of course, folks, rising 11th graders. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for info or to schedule a tour, 591-4687, extension 0591.
That is the right number, folks.
4687. DeAndre, you were in the Telecom program. For those out there that are wondering about the program, let them know what they can look forward to.
What do you enjoy about it the most?
Well, I would say I've been in the program for a few years now. What I enjoy about it the most, one, I earn college credit not paying for anything. So I would say that's a good takeaway. But also just the exposure I've gotten being out in the community, doing different events, the exposure and for going out and doing television production on your side or photography, videos on your side, just that exposure you have in and out the program, that's what helps you move along in life.
It's all about academics, athletics, and activities. 42-zip Woodside. You see the Woodside team, they're going to improve to 3-2. Warwick, Nate, will dip to 1-4. It's like below freezing in the fall.
Let me tell you, the Mother Nature came to play tonight.
So the overall grade for atmosphere?
The overall atmosphere grade, I give it a C because it's a little
weather,
sparse,
of course.
but the weather, yeah. I can understand why some folks might want to stay home tonight because of the weather.
You give Fazoli's an A, though.
Oh, Fazoli's get an A+. Fazoli's gets an A+, Greg.
All right, now time for the crew list. The executive producer is the wonderful Michelle Price, coordinating producer, tonight's producer, of course. Ray Price, been with us since 1992, one of the best in the TV business. Executive producer of Sports Highlights and Fusion Fitness. And, of course, our director, Bill Barlow, been with us since 1993, 23 years and rolling. Double B, Bill Barlow. Of course, CD, not the disc player, but Carl Daniels doing a great job. Carl's a food critic, too. He's always challenging me about food. And you and I are foodies.
I was going to say, don't challenge Greg to a debate about food. That's like Warwick and Woodside tonight. Greg is the mastermind.
Well, not Ferguson, though, right? All right, Nate, take it away with the student crew list.
Our student crew list tonight, they've done a great job all evening long. Alexa Aska, Brian Peterson, Dion Primetime Davis, Summertime Ely, Paul Budden, Lorenzo Green, Eleanor Stuck. Where in the world is Carmen Scott? Benjamin Anderson, Brandon Supermodel Marrero, Muriel Gamble up here with us in the booth, Stephanie Totinos Belito, Dwayne Peterson, and of course, joining us here up in the booth in the second half, DeAndre Foscue.
Now, what I also say, now the game's coming to the end, rolling clock, really nothing left for Warwick to do. All they got to do is take this game up, come out next week, play the best as you can.
And when the game comes to an end, it's time to sing that song.
You got to sing that song, folks. Unfortunately, I hate to do it.
Courtesy of ABC.
Courtesy of ABC and the late, great Dandy Don Meredith, who did it for so many years. Time to turn out the lights.
Add a little flavor to it, Dave.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Turn out the lights. The party's over. And tomorrow starts that same old thing again.
And the scoreboard does not lie.
No,
you always hear that when your friends
lie.
text you and your team's winning. What do they text?
Scoreboard.
That's all they're going to remember is the scoreboard.
Yeah, but, I think to DeAndre's point, though, if you're Warwick and you're Coach Hairston, this is a bad loss, but still, you can learn lessons from losses. And one of the big lessons was they didn't take care of the ball in the first half. They didn't take advantage when they were in the red zone. They went to the red zone about 4 or 5 times and weren't able to score.
It ain't Halloween yet, is it?
You can't do that against a good team. You might be able to get away with that with some of the lower teams, but if you're playing a good team like Woodside or even some of the Hampton schools.
And look at the field. 50% of the season's done. The field looks beautiful, even in the rain. Great job by Mike Nichols and his crew. Philip and Belinda, of course, and the pigskin and the football looks really good. Great uniforms. You don't even see a lot of mud of these players' jerseys either. Have you noticed that?
But Woodside, I said they had the second best jerseys in Newport News, so they had to keep them clean.
Oh, boy. Of course, the Monarchs are number one, at least in uniforms.
Yes, Mitchell is number one.
And the football game from last week is on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we have sports highlights and other shows on there as well. Great job by the students. Of course, subscribe as well. Students, staff, we all get it done. 25 years and rolling. Again, thank you to Fazoli's.com and sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Tweet us at Greg Bick and N8 Mosaic. Tell your friends about NNPSTV.com. DeAndre, how many times have people misspelled your name over the years?
Oh, well, being in the military, misspelling my name is worse than my issues. It's pronouncing my name is the issues I get.
Yeah.
I get Fosgay.
Foscue, Fosky.
Yeah, I just sometimes gotta
F-U-S-F.
sometimes you just gotta shake your head and you just gotta correct them.
Just call me DeAndre.
Yeah,
It's worse when those telemarketers call you. Is Mr. So-and-so there? Anyway, we got 50 seconds left in this game until this game is in the history books. No pun intended. If the kids want to go to history class, this game will be history very shortly. 42-0, 35 seconds and rolling. Warwick just wants to end this game as they look forward to Menchville, Denby, Kickingham, Gloucester, and Hampton. Woodside can look forward to, of course, Kickingham, Bethel, Denby, Phoebus, and Heritage.
The thing about Warwick and Menchville, Greg, somebody's got to win that game.
Wow. And Denby blew out Menchville recently. And this game, folks, is over. So, for the final score, it is 42-0 Woodside all over Warwick. They dominated from the outset. Great sportsmanship, but a 48-minute shutout by the Woodside Wolverines, shutting out Warwick 2 years in a row for a combined score of 77-0 in 2014 and 2015. But again, great sportsmanship. We'll take a break, come back to wrap it up after these messages.
Here at the Peninsula SPCA, there are many ways to help out the animals in the community. There is pet adoption, foster care, volunteer work, and even a petting zoo. All these animals need as much help as they can get, and you can be there for them to give them that help. For more information, visit peninsulaspca.org.
Research shows that reading aloud is the single most important thing you can do to help a child prepare for reading and learning. More than 15% of young children, 3.1 million, are read to by family members fewer than 3 times a week. Only 48% of young children in this country are read to each day. Is 15 minutes enough to make a difference?
Yes.
All right, back right here at the fifth quarter for the postgame show. It was all Woodside tonight, Nate Milton, and go ahead and take care of this 42-0 scoring recap. For 48 minutes, it was a track meet for the Wolverines.
Greg, in the first half, it was all Tamir Walker. You know the old story, Candyman? You say Candyman in the mirror 3 times and he shows up. I don't believe that. But tonight, Tamir Walker was the Candyman. They said his name 4 or 5 times, and each time he found his way to appear into the end zone, scoring 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. It was 35-0 at the half. And then Tahir Tyler, the quarterback, had a QB keeper for the final touchdown of the game in the third quarter. The running clock began, and so the second half ended very quickly. 42-0 is your final score. Woodside rolls on with another win.
And DeAndre, Woodside really just kept the gas pedal rolling from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I would say Woodside, they came up first, beginning of the game, first drive, I would say, and they just kept going, and nothing could stop them. I'd say all Warwick had to do was stop them, and they could have put points on the board, but they couldn't take advantage of it, and Woodside took advantage
Warwick
of it.
was trying to get some momentum. It really just got one step forward, probably 3 or 4 steps back.
And unfortunately, Warwick had some momentum. They were able to get to the red zone, but penalties and turnovers and inefficient offense hurt them every time, and that's something Coach Hairston's going to have to get Warwick to fix if they want to win next week.
And 50% of the season's over.
Yeah, and so this is where we're going to start to separate the pretenders from the contenders. Woodside, I think Woodside has a great chance. If they continue to improve, if they continue to get performances like this from Tamir Walker, Woodside could make some noise in the postseason, Greg.
All right, I want to thank our entire crew. What a wonderful job they did under very adverse conditions in the rain. They started it off very well and got it done in a very professional manner, like always, by our great staff and students right here. It's a total team effort. It takes a village to get this done, and we get it done well. So kudos to our crew. Kudos to Fazoli's.com. Once again, it was Woodside winning 42-0 as they now improve on the season for Danny Dotson's team at 3-2. Warwick goes to 1-4. For DeAndre Foscue, Nate Milton, Ray Price in the truck, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Woodside wins it again, and we'll talk to you soon.